So, witches are real people that use the infinite power of the universe in order to promote their wishes and desires. You can cast spells in order to attract money, attract love, break a bad habit like smoking, ask for guidance and protection, heal yourself, and much more. This course has a practical aspect to it. We'll talk about how to cast spells, how to perform rituals, what to wear, what tools to use, how to enhance your spells, how to enhance your spells using the timing and the location of the stars, and much more. This course also has a theoretical aspect to it. We'll talk about the Wicca religion and neo-paganism. We'll talk about Wiccan traditions and beliefs, their holidays, their symbols, their rituals, and how they honor the god and goddess. So if you are curious about witchcraft and you want to learn more, this is the course for you. Hey, so this is the course on Udemy, and I just wanted you to see it. So here it is. You can see that it's 5.5 hours with 38 lectures. Now it says $20, but I will give you a link with a coupon and it will be $15. You can see here all the lectures. It's pretty long course. Yeah. So basically that's the course, and I hope you will choose to see it. Right now I'll share with you a few of the first lectures just to give you a taste of the course. Have you noticed how many witches are featured on TV shows and in movies? It used to be that you heard about witches only in children's stories or fairy tales. But these days it seems like witches are everywhere. Why? Because witches are really mysterious. Haven't you always been interested in witchcraft? Haven't you always been just a little bit envious of the witch's power and what witches know? Well, you are not alone, and that power and knowledge can belong to you too. But becoming a witch is not about power. It is about finding and developing your spirituality. It's about learning to connect with deity and with the forces of nature. You will discover what you are capable of. You will also discover a nurturing deity and will come to know who you really are. Welcome to Wicca and Witchcraft. Wicca, the religion practiced by many witches, is one of the fastest growing religions in the United States. But what is Wicca? For now, let's just say that Wicca is an earth-based religion founded on ancient beliefs. Wicca is a welcoming religion. Wiccans do not exclude anyone based on their race, color, sex, age, national or cultural origin, or sexual preference. Not all Wiccans are witches, and not all witches are Wiccans, but a lot of them are. By the way, Wiccans don't use the word warlock to refer to male witches. Male witches are witches too. A warlock is a person who has broken an oath, and because of that has been ostracized from the community. If you have violated an oath, you can also be warlock or ostracized and ignored. There are many different traditions in the Wiccan religion. We are going to talk mostly about Wiccan witches, and in this course we will use the term Wicca and witch interchangeably. We'll explain more about Wicca, witches, and their history in the sections and lectures that follow. So listen on, have a great time learning about Wicca and witchcraft, and welcome home. Supernatural abilities? Everybody has the ability to channel energy. In a sense, everything you do happens because of this ability. You decide you want a snack, so you get up, go into the kitchen, pick up an apple, and take a bite. That's simple. You've used your physical energy to move your body. Everybody can use other more subtle kinds of energy too. We all have an inherent power within us to 1. Take control of our own lives, and 2. Make things happen. Because many of us have been taught by our religion, the education system, or our parents to always look to outside authorities We have, to a large extent, repressed this ability. Using energy or powers to control your life and make things happen is just as much a part of the natural world as getting up from your chair. There is nothing supernatural about a witch's abilities. Some people see these abilities as greater than ordinary and call them supernatural, but the forces that witches use are available to all of us and are thus ordinary. Witches use natural energies to enhance their lives and to heal and protect themselves, their loved ones, and the earth. Or super abilities in the natural. A witch's powers may be super or, well, powerful, but they are natural. We are not talking about powers like the ones Samantha Stevens from Bewitches had. What she did on that TV show often was unnatural. Just one twinkle of her nose cleaned her house in a flash. Wouldn't that be nice? When you start to learn about your abilities, the natural energies you are born with, you will start to understand what that force is, and that the energy is in all of us. When you learn to focus on your natural energy, you will learn to increase it, channel it, and send it out into the world. You probably won't be able to turn someone into a toad, but is that something you'd really want to do? Our natural energies make up our power, and we can use that power in the natural world to do natural things. Using your energy is not a substitute for action though. You still have to write up your resume, mail it out, and go to interviews for that job you want. If you use your magical energies too, they may just help land you a great offer. Powers are a special blessing that we all have. Some witches believe that their powers come from the goddess. We'll discuss this a bit more later in this lecture. Either way, just know that you have them. If you open your heart and mind, you can use your powers. And the more you work with them, the better, the more powerful you become. Embracing our energy. The abilities you have are natural and inborn, so there is no reason to be frightened of them. Some of us are more in tune with these innate energies and thus find them welcome tools to enhance our lives. Don't worry, you won't suddenly find that green sparks shoot out of your fingers every time you are annoyed. Your powers are yours. You control them. You'll learn to respect your abilities and send them out to work for your own or someone else's benefit. Don't feel embarrassed by the fact that you have magical abilities. Just because other people around you don't use or understand their abilities doesn't mean you shouldn't use yours. That would be like ignoring the electric light on your desk and using a candle because your office mate doesn't understand how electricity works. Have fun learning about your magical abilities as you listen to this course. Enjoy them. Soon you will come to rely on them. What do witches look like? For some of you, the first image that comes to mind when you hear the word witch is the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz, with her green skin and pointy, wart-encrusted nose. Or the ugly old witch from the Book of Fairy Tales who wants to fatten up Hansel so she can eat him. But witches, just like Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, or Buddhists, come in many different packages. Witches are big and small, short and tall. Some witches are fat and some are thin. Some are brunettes, some blonde, some have purple hair, and some have no hair at all. The very young can be witches, and so the very old. Witches are not ugly old hags. They can be beautiful and sexy, no matter what their age, just like any other person. We think strong men and women are sexy, don't we? And actually, witches aren't always women. The super efficient person who sits next to you at work, your best friend, or that woman at the PDA can be a witch because, in short, witches look just like everybody else. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? When Galinda, the Wizard of Oz's Good Witch of the North, asked Dorothy, "Are you a good witch or a bad witch?" most of us, like Dorothy, just couldn't take our eyes off of her glowing white dress and jeweled red hair. Galinda and her nasty neighbor, the Wicked Witch of the West, represent the polar extremes of behaviors, archetypes of good and bad. But Dorothy was the real witch. Dorothy, like most of us, must choose how she will behave. That is, what kind of witch she will be. The ruby slippers that represent her newfound powers may be a gift from Galinda, but the Wicked Witch of the East has worn those same red shoes. Dorothy must learn how to use her powers for the benefit of herself and others. In our very real lives, we are all learning how to understand and use our potential in the best way. And just like Dorothy, eventually, we all learn that the powers has been within us all the time. Many types of people are witches: the hot-tempered and the meek, the wild and the patient, the forgiving and the demanding, and the stubborn. Just as many types of people are Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, or Jews. Each and every one of us has the inherent ability to be nasty. It's a human failing. Witches do have the ability to behave in a negative way, but so do people of other faiths. Through spiritual understanding, Wiccan witches learn to curb the inherent human tendencies to get back at people or do negative things. Wiccan witches do not work with the negative or with evil. Wiccans believe they must act for the good of the all, including themselves. They don't believe they should benefit from another person's suffering. Sure, sometimes it's hard to deal with negative feelings that come up, but we know we don't have the good without the bad, and so we learn to deal with the negative energies, but not act on them. You may feel as if you want to rear-end the person in the SUV who cut you off as you are pulling up to the toll booth, and that's okay. Feelings are just feelings. What's really important is your behavior, how you act. Actually hitting the guy in his big vehicle in a spectacular display of road rage would not be okay. And however tempting the idea might seem, it also is never okay to try to turn him into roadkill. As witches, we know we have to take full responsibility for our actions. No one and nothing else is responsible for them. So the devil did not make you do it. Wiccan witches are responsible for their own actions and are willing to pay the penalty for them without placing blame on others. Witches who use negative energy are always well paid back in kind for their actions, and using positive energy also is paid back in kind. You can always accomplish the things you need to get done without using negativity. You can reframe the question as a positive, simply turning the situation around. Or maybe there is a lesson to be learned from your inability to complete your task. If you are stuck in a negative situation, or if something bad happens to you, try to make the best of it. One way to do that is to ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn from this? Catherine recently hurt herself while in her yoga class. At first she complained. Okay, she complained a lot. But then she asked herself what she could learn from this literal pain in her butt. After some thought, she realized that her injury was telling her she needed to slow down and take better care of her body. A piece of advice we could all benefit from. What it all boils down to is the old question, is the glass half full or half empty? Think of the glass as half full. Count your blessings, and remember that anyone of any faith who uses other people for their own gain is acting out of negativity. Wiccan witches act for the good of all. So be a good witch, it's for your own good. Ever met a witch? You've probably met at least one witch in your life, maybe more. There are a lot of witches out there, and the numbers keep increasing. Of all the many religions practiced in the United States, Wicca is among the fastest growing. Witches have all different kinds of jobs. Witches are school teachers, bus drivers, chefs, construction workers, computer programmers, actors, nurses, bankers, doctors, lawyers, you name it. Witches are parents and even grandparents. Witches go bowling, play tennis, and attend baseball games. When you first meet someone, do you ask that person what is his or her religion? You probably don't. In fact, in most cases, the subject rarely comes up. Remember the question, what does a Christian look like? Usually you get few clues about a person's belief system from his or her outward appearance. So because witches look just like everyone else, just like Christians, you probably have already met a witch without even realizing it. Witches not only look like everyone else, they are a lot like everyone else. Witches go shopping, drive cars, eat ice cream, pay taxes, and ultimately die, just like everyone else.